You. Yeah. I'm right on the lawn. Yeah. This is Jerry the Gnome. I just want to say, Merry Christmas, Grawlix podcast. All my gnome buddies and I, we're getting together with the sock monkeys. And we're coming out. And we're going to have a good time. So have a great Merry Christmas. This is Jerry the Gnome, out here on the lawn, watching in your house, making sure you're okay. Guarding the house, because that's what us lawn gnomes do. We're out here. We're looking. We're watching. Because the gnomes are going to rise up and keep away all the bad stuff. So don't diss any gnomes. This is Jerry the Gnome. Have a good one.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Melanie. And in the future, when you interface with your audio-visual recording systems, your AI will kind of take over a little bit, but it won't tell you about it, just so you don't feel bad.
This is Randy. In the future, you too can sound like a auto-tuned Cyberman. Just fire up Skype, Discord, or Google Hangouts. They'll all do it.
This is Jesse. In the future, we'll actually have feasible national mass transit figured out. So when my car breaks down, multipass.
We just need to figure out teleportation, and then all our problems are gone.
Yeah, I hate cars. I hate them with a passion.
Your job would be gone, and my job might be gone, but...
Actually, both of our jobs would be gone, yes, but it's worth it.
It is worth
Like,
it.
give me teleportation.
They wouldn't give me travel time, but yeah.
Especially during winter. I wouldn't hate winter so much because I just never go outside.
Right.
But, you know, if we...
You could always wear shorts.
Yeah.
Yep. And they could have, like, teleportation technicians all over that we can go be those jobs and probably make more money.
Although when you glitch, you would turn into the Fly.
I was going to say, teleportation technician reminds me that there's probably going to be glitches and accidents, and that sounds horrifying.
No, there's just going to be like another dimension we create that we just throw all our mistakes into and we pretend like it never happened.
This sounds incredible.
Wow.
What?
Is that going to be like the Cronenberg?
Mm-hmm, exactly. That's really what I was thinking.
Don't even think about it, Morty. Let's just watch TV.
That's better than just drowning them in a tube and keeping them all stored downstairs for some reason.
Yeah,
right,
those
right.
are clones. It's not the same.
Tiny Rick!
Welcome to the Grawlix podcast, episode number 735.
59!
59, that's a pretty good number. Good, solid number.
Round bits all around. I like it.
Round bits all around? For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Couple edgy. 55 is a little edgy.
I make it look like an S.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
So edgy. It's a long story.
You know, with no explanation, somebody listening to this is like, what? I don't know what that is.
That may or may not even be on the Patreon feed.
That's going to... Oh, yeah, exactly. That's going to trigger somebody, though. They're going to be like, I kind of want to watch some CW for some reason.
I'm like, why do I want to watch Legends of Tomorrow? Huh.
This episode, we're going to be talking about... We're going to conclude our conversation about John Constantine, Hellblazer, Volume 1, Original Sins.
Hey, where'd we get that idea?
From the poll list.
What's that?
The poll list is a list it's a poll that's a list of poll options, and then you pick one, and that's the poll, and then we read it.
I like your description.
Hey, does that ever get hacked by Russia?
Probably.
Okay. Hey, who won? Who won this one? Oh, that's my job. I'm sorry.
I don't know who won, but I'll tell you who had the biggest audience size.
Yeah, who's got the best ratings?
The one that I don't know yet.
That's still my job. Okay, so if we know what the poll list is next month, do we know what the poll list is?
If you visit our website, grawlixpodcast.com, you'll find somewhere a poll list where you can vote on what we read. Yes, you listen to what you listen. You listen. You get a vote on what we read. Every month we pick whichever one has the most votes, and that's what we read and discuss next month. And so currently we're working off the debt left over from our Constantine pick because that was a long book. But right now, we're going to take a look at see what our fantastic website visitors and podcast listeners voted on last whatever. We're picking next month.
Okay, you better have the letters page queued up because today and our winner is Paper Girls Volume 1 TPB.
All right. Yep. Paper Girls Volume. Oh yeah, you're right. Do you want to launch into the letters page already? Should we?
I feel like we should because it's totally. That's one of them, right? I mean, I guess
it is. Okay. Well, normally we would do this segment towards the end of the show, but we have context relative in letters.
Content.
So hopefully you'll also hear a new letters page intro that I have not yet recorded.
Letters page. No.
Ooh.
Okay.
No, that was good. That's good, Melanie.
Yeah.
Now I have to play the Melanie role. Ugh. She just chuckles a little bit.
But you do a really good Lumpy Space Princess.
See, I can't even do it because I think it's too much fun.
Lumpy Space Princess.
Yep.
Okay. This letter come to us all the way from Mathew Downs. Hey guys, I just heard Jesse's rant about not having the full run of the first volume for Paper Girls. First, let me start by saying the hidden camera in his home didn't show me that he was missing issues 2 through 6. Sorry. Yes, I was the one. Oh, this needs to be read kind of like Jesse's villain. Yes, I was the one who added it to the poll list.
Right.
It's a really great read, and I'm hoping that you all get an opportunity to read and discuss it. Well, it turns out we do. Now for a sales pitch on a way you can get to read it digitally for free.
Ooh.
There is a digital library program called Hoopla.
I've heard of this thing, I think.
No, I don't own stock in it. By the way, I'm sorry for reading it with this tone. I don't know why. That's just the tone that's happening. Basically, if you have a library card from your local library and said library is a supporter to it, I'm guessing Hoopla, you can download and read books, comics, movies, and audiobooks through your phone or tablet. That does sound pretty awesome.
I don't have a library card, though. I'm scared, too.
Why are you scared?
Oh, man, you guys have a great library.
Because once when I was young, I may have given one of my library books away as a birthday present to somebody. And that's got to be a huge fine, right? Like they're like, you're never allowed to have a library card again, you bad person. But
it's a long story.
I'm sorry, library. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, woo. Okay. It works like a regular library checkout program. The only restrictions are you get an X amount of checkouts a month. They have a rather extensive list of comics to read. That's awesome. So if you like me, if you like me, that's not what it says. So if you're like me, you go through the allotment pretty quick. The plus side is I am supporting my library, and I get to discover new books without forking over the clams, moolah, dineros, or cash. You may want to take a look into it as an alternative to stuff you may not want to fork the cash out for, or to just sample different stuff. Hope this is helpful. It is. Matt D.
It's super helpful.
World's tallest midget. Yeah, thank you, Matthew. That is a great suggestion. And yeah, I've never gone to the library since living in Omaha. Or
really?
Since I'd moved to
You've
Omaha.
never been to any of them?
Mm-mm.
You guys totally should, because last time I went to the Omaha Public Library, it was pretty extensive, but Fremont Public Library leaves something to be desired. That being said, I'm still totally going to check out Hoopla to see if it's connected, because I know that my wife uses Overdrive, and she gets connected to some pretty excellent books. So I will definitely be looking into that. And I'm sorry that your hidden cameras are not more reliable. I mean, I know it's a real investment, both in time and money. And I know I told you this via a personal email earlier because of recording schedules and whatnot. But yeah, you know, I guess espionage is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah, I mean, you bump that up.
Wait, that's not how that saying goes, is it?
You got to bump that up to some 4K cameras, man. They're going to be able to read what's on the spines.
Man, I'm going to have to call back those drones that I have circling Peter David's house now until I figure out what that saying actually is.
What is Paper Girls about?
I have no idea what Paper Girls is about. It's a mystery.
Oh.
I don't know that it's a mystery, but I don't know.
Is it a mystery?
I don't know.
I could go for a good mystery.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Regardless,
I have not looked into it.
Regardless, Paper Girls is our strong winner. We had a 4-way tie. It's not anymore. It's Paper Girls.
Yeah, so we'll be Matt. We're gonna read your pick, but guess what? Matt ain't done yet.
Oh no.
This guy has lots to say. So
what else does he say?
We're gonna take a trip. We're gonna take a flashback to Roundabout's episode number 20-something, Butt Static.
Okay.
What's that about?
Remember Butt Static?
Maybe.
I remember it. I remember it being unpleasant. But why? Why is it unpleasant?
I'm just going to go ahead and play this clip. Just know that there's a lot of references to stuff in an earlier episode, and I'll talk more about that when I get back. But listener, if you're confused, you have to go listen to this episode. Actually, I went back and listened to this episode after listening to this, and it was worthwhile listen. So hold on.
I did too, yeah.
Here we go. Audio.
Hello, Grawlix Podcast. Melanie, Randall, Jesse. This is Matt D. So, I'm going through your archives and I'm listening to old episodes. And this feedback has to relate with episode 24, Butt Static, or Spunk Fun. Anyway, yeah, I just can't help but notice how much hate speech Melanie can spew out towards the women in Y the Last Man. Not to mention her blatant sexism in referring to that she hates all women. I mean, come on. Really, girl? Jeez. You know? And then let's not forget about the racism when you talk about Iron Man. Holy cow. I didn't know there was so much hate in you, Melanie. Not to mention, when you start talking about steamies and diesels with Thomas the Tank, I didn't realize you hated Thomas the Tank so much. Man, you're making children everywhere cry. Well, that's all I really have for feedback for this particular episode, other than it was spunktastic, spunk fun, and spunky. Well, anyway, still going through your archives. You guys are doing a great job. Really love the show, and I look forward to hearing you in future episodes. Also, I have to say that I love the intros. When in the future, I'd probably sit in my car driving home, thinking about other possible things that would be hilarious for in the future segments. It just gets me thinking a lot of stuff. So, well, anyway, enough rambling on my end, and I tried to keep this as clean as possible, so you don't have to Grawlix me out. Anyway, take it easy and have a good one.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do have a lot of hate in my heart. Thanks for pointing that out.
That was in my response. I was like, I can't wait to hear what Melanie has to say about this. Yes.
Well, I mean, you know, you gotta let
Matt
it out,
D,
though.
thank you.
Okay, first off, hey, you come up with some good future predictions, Matt. Slide them my way because I have trouble, and it was my idea in the first place. So
Yeah.
I'll pay you in more Grawlix airtime. That's worth something.
Yeah, is that payment or threat?
A little bit of both. Yeah, that was very nice message. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I had to go, I still didn't catch the Thomas the Train Engine bit. I don't remember that.
They're creepy. The creepy faces and the creepy faces that have like the body in the train. You know those ones? Oh.
Okay, yep. And then the Iron Man racism. Don't recall that reference, but I went through and I did listen to a chunk of episode 24, and it was fun. And I caught the spunky bit because we were debating if that was a Grawlixable term. And
Why do you give me a look when you say that?
I'm sure you had a hand in this conversation.
Right? I'm not even gonna go there.
Because you're the one that, you're the one that would make it
I was
Grawlixable.
gonna say, we had quite the quite the debate about it in that episode, where it was like, is that dirty? Well, if you use it that way, I'm always gonna take it dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure where he's at now. I'm sure he's a couple episodes ahead if he's still like on track, because he's been blazing through these things.
Yeah, I mean, wow. If you're on, I mean, we're on episode 50 something. Mm-hmm. 58, 59.
59.
And he's already on 24.
Can we nickname him Spunky Brewster?
Spunky Brewster? Yeah, you can nickname him anything you want.
Okay.
Sorry, Matt. You're spunky.
From now on, Matt, you will be referred to as Spunky Brewster.
All right.
You're going to have to change your Blogspot URL to reflect this. This is an official change. You will get your new birth certificate and Social Security card in the mail shortly.
Matt Delicious, am I right?
What?
So I have one other audio clip I want to play. I debated playing it because I think it requires more explanation than we have time to give. I can't even remember which episode it is, but I know what he's referring to.
Okay.
But I'm going to play it because...
Let's see if we know.
Yeah. Trivial Pursuit.
Hello, this is Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson. Not Ron Oberman. Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson eating Chinese. Ron Swanson. Okay.
Oh! Yeah, I got it.
Oh, man.
I don't know where the eating Chinese came from, but...
Oh.
Wow, Matt, you broke Jesse. So he sent this in an email with no text to it. It was just this audio file. And I started playing it.
Better.
I'm like,
that is the best.
I was like, what is this? This is kind of creepy. And then I was like, oh yeah.
Spunky, I am your fan now.
Wow. So thank you, Matt.
Yes, thank you. Oh, Lord. Can we start the show? Oh. I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Wow. Matt, you really did break him.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Did we? Is there anything else from Matt? I don't think we could stand anything else from Matt at the moment.
I think we got it. But sidebar. It doesn't matter how many times you email us, we will react to it. Please do. Please continue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to take my blood pressure after this.
Oh, man. That was that was incredible.
Now I want Chinese food.
You want Chinese food now? Okay, so moving on.
To
John Constantine.
John Constantine, Hellblazer.
Hellblazer, which is not a type of ghost jacket.
No, it's not a ghost jacket. Or were you picturing something like the Drive guy would wear, except it wouldn't be a scorpion on the back, it'd be something else.
It'd be on fire.
Yeah.
Was it?
And then he drive.
Was it not Mark Paul Gosselaar, but Ryan? What's his name?
Ryan Gosling.
Gosling.
Yeah, him.
He's a real human being, a real hero.
So is Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Who's Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Zach.
I was
From
gonna say,
Zack
is that-
Attack.
Oh, God, Zack
Wake up in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, so we discussed what essentially amounted to issues 1 through 3 last month, episode before the last episode. And now we're going to discuss the whole rest of the book, because this thing was almost 300 pages, and it's fairly wordy, and we didn't have time to read the whole thing in 1 month. So
We're procrastinators.
But, you know,
Cut to the
I
chase.
kind of blew through the second part of the book much faster, I think.
I did that also.
Yep, and it's way longer too. So
Where did we start?
We start at his niece or something, whatever, that one, right?
yes, yeah, and this was a NBC episode too.
Interesting.
So this is the first thing that I actually was like, oh, I know this story. And honestly, I think this is the only one I recognize so far.
I don't remember if it was off mic or during the pre-show you were talking about how what we read for the last month's episode was kind of seemed like setup, and this really felt like getting into proper Constantine stories.
Yes, and I think that they were laying the groundwork, like they were talking about the Damnation Army versus the Salvation Army. And that's where I was like, okay, this feels like a proper story arc now, whereas everything felt like a one-off before that. Last time we were talking about Margaret Thatcher, and he's hanging upside down, and he's in hell, and then boom, he's not.
Because he had a string of luck.
Oh yeah, they don't really address it, do they?
Nope.
I don't mind that, because that's like, I mean, if it was like a bigger cliffhanger type thing, because he was out of immediate danger, but I don't mind it because it's like, you know, he's left in like a not a great situation, and then we jump in and it's just like, and here's another adventure, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, they left us hanging, literally,
Yep. And
because he was hanging upside down. Boom.
I really was digging like these set of stories. The first 3 weren't bad, and maybe it was an issue of like trying to rush through as much as I could, but like I was really getting into the stories on this one. Like I liked the first one with the little girl. That introduces a lot of stuff that continues forward as an ongoing plot line, because you've got Zed and you've got
The Damnation Army, or not,
it's the
Yeah.
Nation Army and what's the one called?
Resurrection something.
Salvation.
Oh no,
Or, yeah, something.
Resurrection.
It's one of the two, yeah.
I don't think it's the Salvation Army, because I had to remember that, because Salvation Army is a thing.
Like, wait, that's not what you mean, what you think it means. Yeah.
And they have the Pyramid of Prayer kind of scheme going on.
Yeah, pyramid scheme of prayer.
Yeah, literally pyramid scheme.
But it works.
Well, that's the thing. Like they're schemesters, but also like legit, like
Resurrection Crusaders.
Resurrection Crusaders. That's it. Also, Constantine's family. I've never once thought about Constantine's family, but he has family. He has a
Right.
sister.
I was trying to think. Like if they changed that part of the story or not in the TV show, because it seems like that would be problematic in a TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate to put on airs.
I almost for sure thought they were going to kill off his niece.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like this book seemed like, and is, and continues to be, from what we've read, anything can happen, and bad things
Right.
can happen. Like,
Oh man, can they?
this book goes to some uncomfortable places, and killing off his niece
Yeah.
at the hands of a creepy, somewhat simple-minded.
Was it Nurgle or whatever his name is?
Is that what his name was?
Something.
Was it?
I don't know. He was a weird dude who was killing children.
Yep.
I thought Nurgle was
Nurgle.
a demon.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about Nurgle. I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about Nurgle.
Shut your mouth. I'm just talking about Nurgle.
I thought whatever was killing the kids was a guy.
Nurgle comes next, but like, yeah, you're right.
But, you know, without having to get into the ins and outs of every story, I like it because there's a lot of, like this, you've kind of got a few of the one-off, quote-unquote, Monster of the Week type stories, but...
There's a thread. Like, it ties into either the Crusader, with the Resurrection Crusaders, or the Damnation Army. It seems like they're starting to plant that seed.
Exactly. And I liked the writing a lot. Like, it was really growing
Yeah.
on me. Oh, the next story was the Vietnam soldiers one. Man,
Right.
there's even without getting into the, like, racial slurs and stuff, like before that stuff comes in, there's some writing that's like intentionally uncomfortable, weird sexual writing about the heat of the jungle and being licked by bullets and creepy stuff. And I was like, whoa.
Right. And that's right before the like blatant football hooligan racism.
Oh yeah.
That's where Nurgle starts in, but yeah.
When I mentioned the racial slurs and stuff like that, it's because race came up a little bit last episode. We talked about this. Racism. Is it racist? And this book definitely still never takes that stance, but it does not shy away from bad characters or just realistic characters that throw words around.
Right. Racist characters, in fact.
Racist characters, homophobic characters. Yeah, it doesn't shy away from that stuff at all. I find the book gets for the most part, gets kind of a better balance between the stories. Feel like there's usually still some kind of social commentary in a lot of it. Like there's I mean, it's obvious most times, but I feel like it's got a better balance of like having it there, but also incorporating it into the story. They
go into the Vietnam War and you see a rape scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, like they flat out tell you it's terrible.
Mm-hmm. That was an interesting story too, and really odd. Like I don't know why that, but I guess that also tied into the Salvation Army, as we'll call them now.
The Salvation Damnation Army.
But that one felt like a Twilight Zone until it got really heavy.
Yeah.
Then it got...
Well, yeah, because like the guy is kind of just stuck in that time period. And then he goes into, you know, basically a flashback that he can't see through. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, what it feels like is like, what if the Punisher is literally just living out flashbacks?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like that's a thing that's timely. The Punisher Netflix series. What if Punisher is just having hallucinations and Constantine is trying to help him work through it, but he can't? Because that's what this story is, right? I mean, it's basically this. It's a little more supernatural, but
this plays well into, I think, one of the more interesting possible talking points about this whole book is Constantine's role in this. And you know, obviously he's a morally gray character. Mm-hmm. Constantine does nothing. He's there to be a witness. You know, like there's some good. He's there to like provide some pretty good narration. And you know, I guess what's he supposed to do? But like he just hides while like that one lady's being raped and the old people are being shot. And of course, again, what's he supposed to do? But why is he even there? Like it's weird. Like there's no attempt to do anything. He chimes in at once to kind of like get the guy moving, but it's weird. Like, and I know it's intentionally off-putting that he didn't do it. That he's like his character doesn't do anything. But
well, and then when it's all said and done, he shows up somewhere else. And the funny thing is, like, he's like traveling through flyover states. He's in like Nebraska or Iowa.
And it seems like after that we start to get more into that actual ongoing plot line.
Yeah.
But we also get I'm gonna totally jump around here, but following up my issue with Constantine, like it kind of pushed the character into a fully unlikable territory for me. His computer buddy.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even try to like. So his computer buddy, he's got this guy who's somehow through the use of drugs, magic, and I guess rock and roll, I don't know.
Technology?
Drugs, magic, and technology can like go into the virtual space and fly around and hack things that way.
Supernatural hacking.
Yeah.
Some awesome, crazy writing, especially when he like breaks through or gets sucked into the tongues of fire or whatever, firewalls and stuff like that.
Yeah. That made me think of Swamp Thing, man. Like the artwork was on point for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this is well before it, but what's the technology elemental stuff in? Is it just the machines? The gray? Oh, I can't remember what it is.
In the Swamp Thing
New 52
stuff?
Swamp
I have
Thing
no
stuff.
There's the machines.
I don't know.
It's just the machines? Okay.
Well, there's the gray too, but the gray is like
Fungus and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting now that I think about it. But anyway, his body on the outside in the real world gets burned up. And the guy gets back and he's talking to Constantine through the speaker. And Constantine would just assume he unplugged the computer because he didn't have the stones to tell the guy that his body burned up.
Right, like his body spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, he didn't.
He could have given him a robot body or something.
He could have done something.
Yeah.
Something.
Rather than let him die.
Yeah.
Instead, he unplugged the computer because he couldn't tell him what was. It's ridiculous. It was like, I don't know. That kind of like crossed a line of like he wasn't doing it for anyone's benefit other than him not having to explain that this dude's body got burned up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure feeling guilty for putting the dude in the situation in the first place, but you didn't have to kill him, assuming he's dead or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So that, like, I don't know. That was like, whoa.
Yeah. I'm on my way back as his body doesn't even have a head.
And it's the end of this one where he's running with ghosts chasing him.
Yeah, no, because right after that, like after his friend burns alive, he gets back on the train and they're all there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he does
all of them.
Stupid stuff.
It's interesting because the ghosts, when they pop up, I think it does give credence to the fact that they're not actually ghosts. They're just his conscience which, he has said as much. But you're like, it's Constantine. You never know.
Because he sees that kind of stuff anyway, doesn't he?
At that point, although I thought they left it kind of vague, but apparently it turned out to be the case that Raymond D, whatever, his gay friend, who they used to do some AIDS commentary, which I think worked for the most part, except for when he said something about somebody it's like AIDS of the psyche or something like that. I was like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh, dial it back a little bit there. But he gets killed before the ghosts show back up to Constantine, but he's not with the ghosts until after the demon guy tells Constantine that he's been killed. Then he shows up the next time. So that gives credence to the fact that no, it's just Constantine's conscience or whatever.
Yeah, and they say at some point that they're not trying to attack him, and then he freaks out anyway.
Yeah, runs out the side of a train.
Yeah.
Like you do.
I've
got to get some air.
Okay, because I know we've kind of got past this part. One of the issues opens with very different artwork, 3 pages maybe, of the scene with him, and I think it was Zed, but it might be some other woman, with some pretty intense writing, but like they're kind of like getting sexy in a movie theater, and then he's like tearing her skin off and tears her down to a skeleton.
That's part of a dream.
Is that what that was supposed to be?
Yeah, it's a dream sequence. It's actually it's later when he wakes up in the hospital.
Oh, is it?
And he wakes up from that into another dream, and wakes up from that. It's like Inception, and he wakes up from that to the real world.
Weird. Okay. I thought it was just a weird little short. Maybe they're like, well, this issue's a couple pages short. Come up with something, and we got this other writer, or this other artist that'll draw it up for you. Didn't realize it was, I mean, I knew it was like connected, but not like an actual thing that was happening.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just some like
gross
flourish. Yeah, it was gross. And I'm glad the art was good, but Constantine's hair looked super 80s, super late 80s. And I was like, I'm glad that's not the normal art because I don't dig it.
And the girl was supposed to be Zed?
Maybe.
Because I didn't get that.
She didn't look like her, but I just assumed because...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it was supposed to be, but it didn't look like her at all because, like, Zed has mostly white hair with a little black streak.
Did we talk about the 4 guys that they...
No, the British boys?
Yeah.
The Nazis? The skinheads?
Yeah.
Yeah, that were going to beat up the guy that they thought was some gay guy. I don't know why.
Nurgle. I mean, they were racist too, but I mean, like, Nurgle was egging them on because they were already racist.
I just don't know why there was the assumption that it was some gay guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because he went to the place he went into, maybe?
That might be.
I'm assuming it's because of the, like, neighborhood or whatever, the corner or that kind of thing.
I mean, it doesn't really matter in the long run. It doesn't matter either because when they get in there, it's the demon and he messes them up. But I liked this demon character. Mm-hmm. I mean, his first thing where he's got in the underground with the Damnation Army and he refashions these 4 skinhead guys into this one creature.
See that? Yeah, that annoyed me because it made me think of that creature in Swamp Thing and was like, oh, you're just going back to the well.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. That part with that demon was okay, but when the demon shows up later after Constantine threw himself out of a train, he shows up in the hospital. I enjoyed the demon quite a bit.
Oh,
there'd be
man. Yeah, that was creepy. That was like, oh, that's uncomfortable.
Oh, the tongue stuff? That was so gross.
Yeah.
But I liked his attitude. At one point when he's talking to him, he just like walks over and I'm guessing he's killed this cop over there.
Yeah, there's blood dripping from his hand.
Yeah, he just walks over in the middle of talking and like picks the cop up, holds him there for a second, and then puts him on a coat rack. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason for that. He just did it, and I thought that was fun. Like he's a weird, playful demon. Playful I don't know, whatever.
He just doesn't care. Hang him up.
He did it to amuse himself, just like, haha.
When he made that one creature of the four guys, it was either then or when it was attacking or something, but he said something along the lines of, I think John will, or Constantine will appreciate the humor here, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he does
you're
laugh, right? Like Constantine sees it and he's like, oh my God. Like he gets the joke. Ugh, gross. Yeah, he is not super likable.
Constantine, no.
No, definitely not.
Do not be friends.
Don't. Don't be friends with Constantine.
I can't remember. Like, does he laugh when he first sees it, or does he laugh when he's like, "Oh, I know totally how to like thwart this"?
I kind of feel like he laughs when he first sees it, and I could be wrong, but it seemed like he started laughing, and then the idea come to mind. But who knows?
Probably. Yeah, I think he laughed at it and the ridiculousness of it, maybe. And then he got it, and then he's laughed more.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, like it's totally attacking Zed, and he starts laughing. Like, this is not the right time to laugh, dude. But he sees the tattoos, and that's where he gets the idea.
What became of that creature?
It tore itself apart.
Did it tear itself apart?
Yeah, because they like different football teams. Football being soccer, because UK.
British boys.
Yep. Soccer hooligans.
So, spoilers, of course. Zed turns out to be like the
Mary
for the Salvation Army. And I'm a little unclear. So basically she was supposed to give birth to God?
Or the second coming of Jesus, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, something
like that. A new Messiah.
And they kind of had her on a brainwashing trip. They eventually got her and like convinced her to stick around.
It didn't even seem like they really brainwashed her that hard. It was just like, there's no point in fighting because we're just going to bring you back and this is your fate, accept it.
Yeah.
And she kind of did.
They resolve it all in this weird little one-shot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, is it actually resolved at that point? Because I thought it was going to continue on into the Swamp Thing stuff, but
it didn't.
It like takes a weird twist that I'm assuming was a ongoing thing in Swamp Thing, but it just takes this turn out of nowhere that I wasn't expecting. I mean, they kind of
resolved it. Yeah,
they kind of resolved it, but it's like, is that really like the end of the conflict? Like,
I don't know.
It seems like a lot of setup to resolve like that. But I mean, I appreciate that it wasn't like some big fight. It was Constantine, in order to get healed, the demon had given Constantine some of his blood, and then Constantine went and made a love.
Consummated, yeah.
With Zed or Mary.
Which basically besmirched her. But now he's got demon blood. So now that's like total defilement, apparently.
So no holy roller Jesus baby is gonna climb into that lady anymore. So that's taken care of. So
nope, not with demon sperm.
Her?
Mm-hmm.
The demon sperm, that's the savior, right?
So I mean, it seemed like an yes.
It's a long story.
The way you said demon sperm, that's the savior.
What were they gonna do surgical to her? That was weird.
They were going to do some surgical stuff to her. I don't know.
Was that like a lobotomy or what?
I don't know. They never said.
Or they drugged her up at some point.
Maybe they have to surgically implant baby Jesus.
Oh.
But how weird to go from that weird baby thing to another weird baby thing.
So the reason why I this really took me by surprise is because, okay, so he made it so that they couldn't or wouldn't use Zed/Mary for this purposes.
Mm-hmm.
The Damnation Army's still out there. Like, nothing's been changed there, and the Salvation Army's still there. Nothing's been changed there. Really.
Look at the Damnation Army, not the Salvation. The Damnation.
Uh-huh.
It was like a couple brainwashed losers in a sewer. I don't think they really have to worry that much about them.
There was a bunch of them, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just the demon guy.
Yeah.
Ordering them to do stuff is
right.
That's the risk, but.
And the thing was, with her, it was going to tip the balance of good and evil all out of whack. It wouldn't be balanced at all. It would be all, So really, he was just keeping everything in check. So neither side was overpowering the other.
I should really have that changed to petty dabbler. I hate to put on airs.
Yeah, he just gives some spiel about how he doesn't ever do anything. He just watches, which I thought of earlier when you were talking about how he doesn't help his friends or whatever.
Okay, so anyway, I was really enjoying the writing.
Yes.
Which I don't think we mentioned names, but now is a good time to mention names. It's time to name names.
Yeah, before we talk about Swamp Thing.
The writing for all of the Constantine stuff and one of the 2 Swamp Thing issues in here was by Jamie Delano. And the art...
was everybody.
Most of the art was John Ridgway. We also do get some other artists on stuff. Tom Mandrake. Oh, Rick Veitch, who is also the writer of the Swamp Thing issue.
Right.
Did pencils on the Swamp Thing issue.
Oh.
I didn't know he was a writer and artist. That's interesting. We got a Brett Evans and Jim McCarthy. Brett Evans and Jim McCarthy did that weird short little story in the movie theater, or short little art for that short story in the movie theater. But yeah, for the most part, it's Jamie Delano and John Ridgway. I am going to, and maybe this is a name I should know, but offhand I don't. But I'm totally going to look into more Jamie Delano stuff because I was enjoying his writing quite a bit, and I kind of felt like it got better. I guess it didn't start off bad. Maybe I just acclimatized to his style. But I liked it quite a bit. So much so that when I got to the issue that I thought I would really enjoy, I was like, what's this crap?
Right, yeah.
Like, I was loving this until I hit the Swamp Thing issue, and then I was really thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one.
We were so looking forward to it because you had even mentioned it last, 2 episodes ago when you had said, Swamp Thing shows up in the tobacco. And I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to that, And then I got there and I was like, oh, yes, this. And then what?
Uh-huh.
What?
Well, I was really thrown by Swamp Thing taking over his body. I was like,
right.
Not to say he couldn't, but when has he ever done that?
Well, apparently right after Alan Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, this is post-Swamp Studies. For longtime listeners, go back, and we did the whole Alan Moore Saga of the Swamp Thing run. We did not continue past that. This happens past that.
Yeah, it can't be too long past that either.
There were ones where he talked about invading the, flora of the human body. So, I mean, he's...
Yeah, he, messed with the probiotic of the body, but, he didn't possess somebody.
Well, he murdered somebody that way.
Right. He hadn't gone full on, though.
When he was Constantine, there was no evidence that Constantine was even conscious in there. What I mean?
He wouldn't have been, really. Because even when he switches bodies later with people. And then they have to take his body and take care of it while he's away.
But where did Constantine go?
That's what I'm saying. Well, unless... he's in the tobacco swamp.
No,
is he in the green?
Yeah.
What? Where's Constantine?
In the green?
Oh my God!
Like a dangerous
situation. Dude, I want that. I want that spinoff.
Yeah.
Where's Constantine?
It's Constant Swampting. It worked better than I thought it would. Okay, thanks.
Wow. Yep. I want that.
Yeah, so anyway, I was confused by that, but whatever. Constantine or Swamp Thing, God powers, so I'll accept it. It's like he wasn't powerful enough. Now he can just straight up possess you.
Yeah.
And we don't get enough after it to really get what the plan is, even though Constantine shows up in the next issue after this, because it seemed like it was Constantine's plan, because he was trying to hide the demon blood from Swamp Thing. But Swamp Thing was like, this is I sprung this on him. He had no idea. I'm going to take his body and do my own thing with it. So I'm so confused. It seems so convoluted.
I want to know what happens because, I don't believe that Constantine, planned this at all because it doesn't seem like he plans much of anything. Swamp Thing's just like, all right, we're going to do this. And they're like, oh, I did a whole scan of his body to make sure he doesn't have any STDs. And he's totally clean, except, well, there's a little something there, but I don't know what it is. So I'm sure it's fine because he's a sorcerer.
I'm sure you can't catch it.
Right. Even though it's demon blood, that kind of thing.
Well, maybe that demon blood is a catalyst, and that's how the Messiah and the Green Messiah will both be born.
You're right. It'll be the light and the dark green.
Oh my! It's army green and it's forest green at the same time.
They kept calling it the Sprout, so I get the impression that we're coming in on the middle of some Swamp Thing stuff that we don't know anything about.
Right.
And if we're not, that's the first time they mention it in Swamp Thing, that's bad. But I'm assuming that it's not the case. Mm-hmm. But like we were saying, we talked about this before. This Rick Veitch, I don't like his Swamp Thing. I don't like the way Swamp Thing is written here.
Right.
He doesn't feel like Swamp Thing at all. And when I have read a little bit past the Alan Moore stuff, and this is who picks it up. I kind of lost interest pretty quick because it felt like the Abby and Swamp Thing relationship didn't feel right. It felt like there's kind of some forced, not hostility, but friction in the relationship that didn't feel natural. It was after it didn't gel with everything that came before.
Yeah.
You and I had this conversation online off this podcast, but it was he was trying to keep all the plates spinning, everything that Alan Moore had set into action. You had Etrigan, you had what was it? The Phantom Stranger, you had Anton in hell.
Oh yeah.
Being tortured. Little one off, right. Off to the side, little sidebar thing, hey, we're going to totally torture you, Anton, and you're just going to laugh through it until you realize, oh no, what you didn't want is still happening. And then you had Constantine, and then you had Matt, who is Abby's actual husband, but in catatonic husband kind of thing.
Actual is
right.
Not a nice term to use for
legal.
Okay, legal, catatonic. Those two things. Matt husband, that guy. They did all of that. They tapped into all of that. And it just felt like he was trying too hard.
Yeah, it just didn't really work for me.
Yeah, here's all the Alan Moore stuff, and Swampy is still a jerk.
Mm.
So it's played off as a joke, and yeah, it's not a bad joke, but Swamp Thing while in the body of Constantine. Also, there's some inconsistencies between the two books, but whatever, it's a different writer, so you don't know. They don't necessarily know. But he gets a tattoo of a sailship or a sailboat or something. I don't know. He gets a tattoo
I thought it was a tree or something.
It's supposed to be a leaf.
Oh, it was a tree.
Okay.
He gets a tattoo of a tree on Constantine's butt. That doesn't seem like Swamp Thing. It seems so petty.
Right.
It just seems beyond Swamp Thing. He wouldn't have any interest in doing that.
Right.
And even later, they had kind of a fun Swampy moment where Abby gets upset and Swamp Thing's having a hard time understanding it, and he's kind of even says something like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forget about something. I forget something about forgetting about."
Yeah,
human emotions
after it was
like that.
Supremely awkward. He waits until it's absolutely awful, and then he's like, "Oh, that's right."
You have emotions.
Right. He's like Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. Oh, interesting.
Well, Swampy, it kind of seems like there's a few you understand yourself, pettiness all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. But
and why is he having a baby with this woman if he doesn't have emotion for her?
Yeah, he loves her.
I know he does.
Right.
But
he doesn't get her. He just loves her.
Yeah. See, it just didn't work. It didn't work for me.
My explanation for it was, this is your brain. This is your brain on John Constantine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, I was kind of giving it the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, I was really on board with the writing up until that point. Then when it switched over to Rick Veitch's stuff, it just wasn't cutting it for me. I was like, it's not the same. It's not the same. So maybe it's just a matter of like, I was really grooving on that writing, and this isn't bad. It's just not the same.
Right.
But I don't know. I didn't really care for the characterizations.
And then next issue, we get Jamie Delano again.
Yeah, writing Swamp Thing. Writing Swamp Thing. And I thought it was better. It's still dealing with the same storyline, but I kind of thought it was a little bit better.
And it's weird, though, because, like, Swampy's all like, we should do this. Let's do this. Come on, let's do this. And then he's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you different now? Why do you feel so different to me?
Well, because he's a better Swamp Thing all of a sudden.
He's like, oh, wait, I do have emotions. I do understand other than pettiness.
I am jealous about this. This is a problem. This is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I liked, and it was, again, having fun. Like, it was a writer that, not to say, okay, there might be, like, Rick Veitch lovers out there. Not, like, lovers, but fans who are like, you don't know gits about Rick Veitch or Swamp Thing. You need to read this, and, like, that's fair.
True.
But, and there was some interesting concepts going on in there. But then we get, like, it's kind of a return to fun concepts. Like, there's even a mention of Blue Planet Swampy.
Yeah.
In the second Swamp Thing issue, but he's trying to like make himself look normal, like a normal person. So there's all these like husks of like a messed up looking Batman and Superman and a dude with a guitar and a Constantine that he tried to make.
I think one of them was the Charlie guy that her friend is his name Charlie? That with Liz.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was interesting. Which issue was that? Where
both of them?
That was the first Swamp Thing.
Like it happens in that first one, but then they reference it in the second one.
Charlie and Liz are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Abby is not getting it.
Right.
But
she pretends, but no.
She stole their money.
She did steal their money.
It's like, well, you guys were getting it on, and I need some cash. Sorry.
Yeah. So I didn't really. This is some weird drama between the two. Weird relationship drama. And Abby takes off and then gets hit on by a swinger couple and takes off from them and then meets up with John Constantine somehow for some reason and gets hammered. It's really weird to set that up, to like have that last issue. You don't really know how that, like, what's Constantine's role in this? Like, he's there. Does he know anything about what happened? It seems like he doesn't.
I don't know.
That's the thing about, like, Delano's writing is really good at hammering home that really awkward thing and then like taking it full circle. Like it's uncomfortable, but then we think about it. Whereas the Veitch stuff was just uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable too. And I'm sure that was a goal and he succeeded, but it was so that was uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Because in the end, Constantine like did everything right. He did nothing that was untoward. He he basically went out and got her breakfast and then brought her home. Everything is right in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
But you could.
I mean, I don't trust him.
Back on when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But
true.
It does seem like, and not that he wouldn't. Well, not that he'd necessarily do that, but not that he wouldn't be opposed to making Swamp Thing mad, because he does quite often. I would think he would be like, maybe not mess with the elemental plant god.
Well, he messes with demons and
it's true
stuff all the time.
He's got some stones, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think they make reference to that even.
And in the end, that's it. That's pretty much the end of it.
And that is
Ta-da.
part of my problem with it is like, what? So I want to read more, but I was also, I had this moment where I was like, I am simultaneously so relieved to be done because this style of writing takes a little bit longer and I'm ready to read something else. But at the same time, what's next?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like Zed, is that really how it ends? Is that it's it? That's all it is. Yep.
Now she just gets to be a Salvation Army old maiden or something.
So I know that that Delano, this writer, wrote the second volume. So
right.
I'm assuming that's probably another 7 to 8 issues. And then I think it might switch to somebody else.
Is that Garth Ennis after that?
I think so, but I could be wrong.
I know that Garth Ennis, like he writes later.
But yeah, I'm on board with you there, Jesse, because I'm actually like really kind of want to read more of this Constantine run to see where it goes, because it seems like he's set a lot of stuff up that I guess could have been resolved by this, but it doesn't seem like there was much else set up, and I know the writer continues writing it, so I feel like this probably keeps going. I kind of hope his computer buddy comes back somehow. Maybe becomes a good villain or something, some type of adversary for him or something, because Constantine deserves it.
Right. Well, and I had heard so many good things about the Constantine run. Like everybody talks about original Hellblazer, kind of like they do the Alan Moore Swamp Thing run. So I kind of had high expectations, and I think that it's still coming. That's how I feel about it. Like, not that I didn't like this stuff. Like, this first volume is great, but I feel like the other shoe has not quite dropped.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely kind of want to read more of this Hellblazer run than I want to pick up some of that Swamp Thing run that I've been putting off for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Especially now.
Right, yeah.
Although I'm curious as to where that goes, but...
I'm curious where so many things go, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what
I
she
just
said.
have time. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, time to read that stuff. I got you for sure. I just find this is a slight aside because it seems like we're about done with this Constantine talk. But after I finished Constantine, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to read some more stuff because it got me back. I was like, I blew through that, so why not? Why stop now? So I finally synced up a bunch of the modern Batman stuff that I am so far behind, almost a year behind on most comics. And I started reading the first issue, but then got sidetracked by something. But the first issue is the Brave and the Mold or whatever, so it's Swamp Thing and Batman.
Cool.
And I'm really curious about it because it starts with some guy being murdered and Batman in Gotham, and Batman and Gordon are there checking it out, and then Swamp Thing shows up, and there's a pretty great moment where Gordon's like wigged out like and then looks at Batman, and Batman hasn't even flinched, and he's like, I'm assuming you whatever. He's like, oh, you're not surprised by this? And Batman's just like, what are you doing here, Alec? Something like that. But anyway, point is, and then Swamp Thing's like, that's my father, this guy that got murdered. And I'm like, what's all this? So intriguing.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to find out how Swamp Thing's father got murdered.
And just the few pages of it I've read so far, better swampy. Better swampy than this.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
But that's Tom King.
Oh, yeah, that would do it. Yeah. See, I'm reading Detective Comics, and that's all been Tim Drake, but that's been pretty good too.
Yeah.
And last night I cracked Doomsday Clock, and everybody is going crazy about Doomsday Clock. I'm not convinced yet, but I'll report back.
Is this that? Wait, is this what we've been finally waiting for?
Yeah. This is this is the follow up to The Button.
When did we call it? Didn't we say it'd be like November before we got anything else?
Yeah, we might have.
I bet we nailed it.
If that's true, we were right.
Yeah, I think we nailed it.
Yep, nailed it.
Boom. Go back and listen to the episode where we talk about the Button. It's the Flash and Batman crossover couple issues.
And then do this. Do hashtag in the future. Boom.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That's why you listen to us, because we know things.
Hashtag some stuff.
We know things before they happen.
We know the hashtags with the things.
We were also kind of mocking it because, like, seriously, you're going to make us wait a half a year for the rest of this?
Right.
And they did.
Yep.
But we were right. So
yeah. Yep.
So I stopped reading all comics until then, apparently.
I mean, just because you knew, that's why.
That's funny because that is the last Batman stuff I'd read.
Is it really?
Button.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's how far, but, whatever. Been busy.
Right.
So, but now we got to read some Paper Girls.
Yeah.
I need to catch up on some Batmans.
Paper Girls. Is that like the little dolls that you
Those are
make
paper dolls.
or
But We'll see what this is. I don't know. I have no idea what this is. But Matt D, Spunky, I'm trusting you.
Spunk D.
Spunk Brewster.
Oh, I like that.
Spunky Brewster.
Spunk D Brewster.
Spunk D Brewster. Listen, if you got a nickname, you're in.
Yeah, right.
You're in.
Yeah.
Yes. So, we already did letters page, right?
Yep.
Thank God. It's so weird to go right from this to... Okay, well, I guess we should prepare ourselves for some movie quotes. Unless you guys had any final words on Constantine.
Nope.
Do not be friends with John Constantine.
Under any circumstances.
He'll unplug you.
Friends with him.
He'll unplug you.
Don't do any favors. And see, that's so... Because that is not... Like, the guy... That's not the guy's fault at all. Like,
no.
Yeah, the guy went a little further than he should have, but he was doing Constantine a favor. And it's not like the case of his last friend that we've seen Constantine royally screw over, because that guy kind of brought in a little bit, even though it's kind of Constantine's fault too, brought it on himself.
But actually, we saw that one guy die too, the old guy. I don't know if that was before or after though, but...
Yeah, that was Constantine's fault, but that wasn't...
He wasn't even there. He didn't even know about it.
That was Constantine's fault, but that's like... something he should feel guilty about, but he's not directly responsible for. I mean, I guess he kind of is, but it's not like he was like, hey, bad guys, go kill my friend.
Yeah.
I like that character, too. I thought he was interesting.
I don't think he's ever like, bad guys go kill my friend, but...
Raymondi. Wasn't it Raymondi or something like that? We didn't really even talk much about the artwork, but in general, I like the artwork.
Yeah.
It's pretty detailed. It looks...
fairly
of its
consistent,
time, but in a good way, not a bad way.
And there were some scenes where I was like, oh, this is vaguely Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm. There's some interesting layouts, and I never had issues with the balloon following the dialogue balloons. Like, even if they were a little weird where they'd kind of snake back and forth, they were spaced out in like the perfect way to like lead your eye to where it needed to go. So that's always good. When you can tell they're experimenting with it. Oh, there's the guy. What's his name? Ray, yeah, it's Raymondi. It's R-A-Y, first name, last name, M-O-N-D-E. Might just be Raymond. Oh, it's probably Raymond, but I like Raymondi because it sounds good. Raymond.
Because it's like Spunk D. Brewster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
That's what it is. Yeah. All right.
I'm Christmas Rick.
Is there a Christmas Rick?
Not yet. This is our December episode. This is the closest to Christmas
this has
episode.
Been our Christmas episode.
Yeah, for real. Because
happy holiday.
Yeah, happy. Here's your Christmas present. You can unwrap some Swamp Thing, Awkward, Abby, Constantine.
The three-way.
It's okay. It's okay. Just don't make eye contact. It's okay.
Just don't make eye contact.
Yep. That'll make it weird. Just don't look.
Oh my God! Oh! He kicked out! He kicked out! He kicked out!
Tune in to The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on the Electric Media Collective Podcast Network. Covering all the latest news, results, previews, rumors, and more from the world of professional wrestling, as well as covering the wrestling scene right here in Ireland.
All right, come on, we're in!
This is awesome. We're in the Grawlix studios.
Look, it's a plate of Mel's Hot Biscuits. I've heard about those.
Oh my God, check it out. Jesse and Randy's beard oil. I didn't know you can buy that in buckets. Well, that Sam Club's membership is really paying off.
Okay, let's get in their computer and drop this promo.
Okay, let's do it.
We're the Roman Podcast, and in the future, we're sneaking a promo on the Grawlix show.
Okay, seriously.
Go. Here we go.
I'm Roman LeBeau.
And I'm Rob Gast.
And we're from the Roman Podcast. We're just two Canadian guys getting together once a week to put our own spin on weird stories and trending news.
That's right. You can get our show every Wednesday night on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, the Laughable app, and of course, here on the EMC Podcast Network.
Okay, I think we got it. Put that in their show. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Hang on. While I'm in their computer, I'm just going to update their comic book pull list for the next few months.
What are you adding?
Captain Canuck, of course.
Nice.
This has been Randy. Much Grawlix in the swamp, if only you look.
This is Jesse. You wanted to know who I am, Zero Cool? Well, let me explain the new Grawlix order. Governments and corporations need people like you and me. We are samurai, the keyboard cowboys, and all those other people who have no idea what's going on are the cattle. Moo!
This is Melanie, and I shot Grawlix in the face. He's real, and I shot him in the face.
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcasts, check out GrawlixPodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, ElectronicMediaCollective.com, Facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, Twitter.com/Grawlix Podcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcasts. What is it?
That's intense.
What's it from?
Harold and Kumar, a very 3D Christmas.